Hi, it's Saturday afternoon at about 3:30 p.m. From memory, I'll just double check. 3:43 p.m. As you can see, it's a beautiful winter's afternoon in the Avon wheat belt, and not too cold. Perfect. It's been 10 days since my last live, and there's a few reasons for that. I just got so much happening in my life, as a lot of us do, and I keep wanting to have formulated topics and concepts that we're going to discuss on the YouTube. And I come up with all these different ideas, and I get inspiration and guidance, and then finding the right time to do it, which involves so some of the times when I was walking the dogs, it was just too windy, and you would have heard the sound in the phone. Other days I just want to focus on the walks with the dogs. Other times when I was at home, I could have done it in my bed at the end of the night, or first thing in the morning. But I was focusing on my prayers, and I just focusing on self and my reflections and my and then there's also been times when I've had it's been the right space, but then there's been others around, so I just felt like I needed for it just to be me and the dogs, or just me. So there's lots of different reasons: timing, environment, and energy. And I'm gonna have to use the word desire. Like, I just haven't had the impetus. For me to do a YouTube live, I've really got to zone into becoming a public spokesperson, and it takes me out of my space and puts me in a space of me being there for whatever it is that I am for the other. It's a different energy. So I guess I've been selfish, self-full. Like, I've just been focusing on my own needs, and I had this thought, no, because it's been 10 days and I have had a lot of guidance saying, please be brave to get out there and do another live soon. Got to give the channel energy. I could, if I let too much time go by, it will just become something that I started that I let dwindle out. And if that is what happens to this YouTube channel, that's fine. Like, if I end up just deleting this channel and deleting all the content and all the videos and everything, that's fine. It's just been a season. It's just been a time. Like, I started this channel early December 2022, when I was completely like, you gotta be kidding me. Life made no sense. Nothing made sense. I was shattered to the core of my being, shattered to the core of my soul, and just trying to make sense of everything. And it was a really challenging journey. It's been, about 9 months or something now, hasn't it? Or 8 months or something. But it was prior to that. It was a year. It all started June last year when I first started the Facebook blogs, lives. So it's been a long journey. And one of the reasons why I did do the blogs in the beginning, the Facebook blogs and then the YouTube lives, was because, one, I was asked to. And by God, well, I feel like it was God. And two, I couldn't write. I found it impossible to write, to journal. And I knew I needed to be recording, keep some sort of record of what was going on. But the recording wasn't really the main part of it in the beginning. I realised, I'm getting a record of this process, and this is fantastic for me for later when I write my book. But then I realised, no, it's a good transition process for others to see. So that's when I, the times when I showed you the videos where I was really deep, cathartic crying, and I've been really brave many times over, thinking this is the process, and I'll show it organically and authentically for those going through the same, because I knew I was always going to get to the other end of it, and I knew I was always going to. I always knew that I had the godly divine rewards at the end, and you will see in some of my channels where some of my lives where I was doubting that, because how can a human not? But I was discussing my doubt. I was discussing my sadness around the doubt, because in bottom line, always knew that my destiny was always for, all to be perfectly well, like all abundantly prosperous and peaceful, and I always knew that was my eventual outcome. So I just knew it was a matter of surrendering and healing, and so when I was showing the lives, I knew there would come a time when I could show you the other end of it, and I knew that this for someone would give them hope when they're at the beginning of the process, especially when I grab, oh look at this, I love this. This is from Last Bloods. This year we haven't had as much rain as last year, so the river's nowhere near as high. I've got my gumboots on. I don't know if you can see them. Got my gumboots on, and it is wet, but nothing like last year, and nowhere near as cold as last year. We still get very cold nights, of course, and frost in the morning. So if you wake up early, you go to work, there's frost on the windscreen. But right now, it's just so warm. Like, I'm actually got a woolen jumper on, a thin woolen jumper, and this thin jacket, and I'm actually hot. Like, I'm starting to sweat. So I knew that the montage, I knew that I could eventually, when I get to the editing side of it all, and I grab all the videos and I collate them and turn it into a montage, I knew that the editing process would create a really powerful footage, whatever you want to call it. Just getting the really relevant bits of each one of my discussions, I knew that, and the transition, that I was always mindful that is where the power would come in, because I can make a 30-minute montage from a year ago to now, like, so 5 seconds of each week or whatever. Oh, Zena, really? She came right near me and shook. Yep, great. Anyways, yep, so, okay, so, giving the YouTube energy again, and thank you for those who've been following me, and I know some of you get disappointed with me when I don't continue, and sometimes I've done it twice now. I go, see you tomorrow, and they're the times when I'm done it twice now. I remember exactly the last time I said see you tomorrow was 19th of July, and there was many months ago, I don't know the date, when I also said I'll see you tomorrow, because I was going to do daily daily lives, and that's when I went, it's almost like when I give you the promise that I'll be there the following day, it's when a part of me goes, oh no, and it's like I go into that, I'm not going to say it's necessarily sabotage mode, but I go into, well, what am I going to provide? Or I'm not going to say it's a sense of pressure, but I've noticed that the 2 times I said see you tomorrow are the 2 times when I disappeared off my life for about 10 days. So I've decided, I know there's this other lady who goes, see ya. She goes, see you she goes, see you next time. She goes, see you next time. That's what she says. See you next time. So she I think does them. Does some pretty amazing speeches. She's not regular. She doesn't have set dates. She's just when it feels right, when she's channeled to do so. So I'm thinking when I say see you tomorrow, I make that promise. It's not authentic, so I'm not going to do that anymore. And as I've said many times over, this YouTube channel, it's an amateur site. It's what it is for whoever listens to it, watches it, gleans some information from it. So, in saying all of that, everyone, I'm here again, bit by godly force. had a lot of resistance, and didn't really want to do my channel today. I just wanted to do this walk with the dogs. And I was like, come on, Nadina, come on, get back, because today's a good day to do it. There's no wind. I've been, so I sometimes walk with other people, and today I'm alone. And I sometimes come when it's a bit too late and gets a bit cold, and I don't know, I'm just not in the mood. But today I went, I'm just going to do it. So when I said saying yes to life, yes to God, yes to self, yes to me, and I realised this saying yes to life, that ties in with the being in heart stance. So saying yes to life doesn't mean saying yes to please others, or yes to belong, or yes to be approved of, or yes because you want people to like you, or you want people to feel indebted to you, or because you feel like you have to say yes. That's not what I mean about saying yes to life. Saying yes to life ties in with the not self-sacrificing. It's saying yes to the life that God desires, needs, prays, if God prays, for us to actually step up into and believe that we deserve. So, not deserve, the life that God has destined for us. So, this divine life that God has destined for us, whatever God is. I talk to a lot of people. Look at this, isn't this beautiful? I just had to step over that onto this little thing here. I don't know if you can see it. A little island. Anyways, I might show you my view for a second. Very pretty, beautiful and pretty as Betty, Britty. Okay, so there we go. We got undulating sands. Beautiful, isn't it? And that's where I just stepped over. It was quite fun. That's where I've just come from. Oh, I'll show you the dogs. Xena, there's Alvin. Xena! Xena! There's Alviny. Xena! Oh, look at the moon up there. Xena! Quick! She's behind those trees, but she's... So, yeah, that comment, that discussion we had a while ago about self-sacrifice, like not doing anything that's of self-sacrifice. So what we do is of self-love. And self-love is honouring our destiny, which means surrendering to the godly plan, not trying to orchestrate it, make it work, and definitely not doing it for... I'm just walking through a fair bit of water here, so if you just forgive me for a second. I got gumboots on, but I got home the other day and I took my gumboots off, my sock was wet, so I think there might be a little bit of a hole in my gumboot. Just a tiny hole, which is annoying. Xena! There she is. Come on! Quick, there she is, see? Come on, quick! Come on. So basically, Xena, come on. Quick. Finally. Come on. There's a little bugger. I don't know if you can see her. Come on. Oh, there she is. Right. Oh dear. Thank you. So anyways, what am I trying to say? Yeah, the saying yes to life. What I mean by that is a real clear distinction with saying yes to the life that God has planned for us. Not just saying yes because you're too fearful of saying no to someone, or because you think you have to say yes. So that's different, okay? And that's a very important distinction. So when we're saying yes to life, we're being brave. We're really brave. So basically, when we say yes to life, we are literally saying yes to things that make us feel uncomfortable, and we're taking the plunge. We're actually taking the plunge. We're taking that deep dive, that leap of faith, that deep, often harrowing and terrifying leap of faith into something that may create for us to lose a group of friends, or the approval of family members, or lose a group that we've known really well, or it may create you to be so out of your comfort zone that all of a sudden you it's not scary per se because you're trusting divine protection, but it's scary in the sense that anything and all is possible. It's really hard to explain. So any of those who want to comment on this, you can talk about it. It's a good topic to discuss. So when we say yes to life, we are literally saying yes to the required risks in order to be self-honourable and not self-sacrificing. So we're not holding ourselves back, we're not staying small, we're not and we're not saying no to an opportunity that's so obviously a gift from God. We often get given these amazing gifts from the divine, and a lot of us don't let those gifts come to fruition because we don't accept the gift. We don't accept the gift because of either fear that we think the gift is there's many reasons why we might not accept the gift, but one of them is we might not see the gift for what it really is. We might just think it's what do you call it, coincidence, or what do I say there? We might not actually even notice it, or we might not notice the significance, and we might not realise it's actually for us, or it was what was needed for us to move to the next step in our life. And then we realise later, that was the crossroads. So that was a crossroads and I didn't take it. And it was so obvious that it was there. I took the wrong path. That's someone not saying yes to life. They get given this amazing opportunity that's so obviously a gift from God. And in saying that, I understand the confusion when you go, is that a gift from God, or is it just me being egotistical and attempting to orchestrate and control the narrative? So I understand, everyone, like if you're like me, you question when something is given, when a blessing is given, and it just seems like wow, like next level blessing, and you're going, whew. There's one thing, that part of it always goes, there's a part of us that wonders whether we deserve it, if it's really for us. We question it, is it of the devil tempting, or is it something that's going to take us off our divine path? So we do question, is this of God, or is this of sort of satanical forces to take me off my divine path, off my destined path? So I get that. I really get that confusion around it. So you just got to pray around it. You have to pray around it, and you have to pump your burp. Come on. You have to pray around it, and you have to ask for real clarification of, is it really God's gift, and how to work with it. And take your head out of moralistic viewpoints like 3D, humanistic, moralistic, limiting viewpoints. Humans will always put limiting boundaries around situations of how we should be, could be, should be. I've already said should twice. Could and should be, and how you ought to be. Ought, should, and could be, right? Humans put those limitations on each other to constrict each other, keep each other small, keep each other not being divine, keep each other not living their true life, not living their true blessings, not receiving or honouring or working with God's divine blessings, which means they're not helping to heal the planet. Come on, quick. So hope that makes some sense. So this is a lot that what I've been learning about divine blessings are just, whoa, they're next level. They just, for me, they're next level. Like I'm getting inundated with divine blessings, like inundated to the point where, like, I knew that this was always I always knew that God's protection me was, I knew that everything was all right. I knew that I was going to be okay and everything was all right and God had my back and I was protected. I knew that. And I knew the blessings were just, I knew that there would come a time when the suffering, I don't know if you can hear that wind, so I'll just put you in my hat just in case. I knew there'd come a time when my suffering wouldn't be as excruciating. And that has happened, that has occurred. So yeah, my blessings are just like next level, and I am saying yes to them. In saying yes to the blessings, I'm going to talk about the fear around that. Okay, so when we say yes to a divine, I just knocked a branch from my hair into my shirt. When we say yes to our divine blessings, it's not necessarily the easy path. It's often the harder path to take. And the interesting thing is, I've been sharing with some really close dear friends my processes of saying yes, and I've had a lot of people backing me up with my the pathway that I've taken, the yeses to life that I've said, which were definitely blessings from God, and presented in such a way that was really, for me, looking for the signs and the guidance, like praying for the signs and the guidance. They were obvious. So I do urge you to pray for the signs and guidance to be obvious, because if you're not open to the signs, you might miss them. And if you're not open to them being blessings and guidance from God, you may just think of it as luck, or it's not. There's no luck in it. That's God directing and guiding. God gives these most amazing clear signposts. Trust me, like when you pray to God for guidance, God actually makes them like neon lit signposts. And one of the hard things to accept is we have to put our worldly, egotistical viewpoints and narratives aside to actually take that direction, to say yes to that direction. And but that direction takes us further and further and further into God's divine plan for us, or God's divine blessings, God's divine. So it is there. It's now I know that you can see my eyes, that I'm looking really haggard, and to you I might not look like someone who's receiving a lot of blessings. So we're going to talk about the next thing. And I know I've probably touched on a couple of topics in this conversation and not followed it all the way through, because I've noticed I do that. I'll discuss, how's that, that's the train. I'll discuss something and then I go on this segue, and then I go down that pathway, and then sometimes when I re-listen to some of my posts, I go, I never finished that off. But there will come a time when I go through all of my YouTubes and I collate and montage them, and I pick up all the loose threads, and I try to remember where there's a loose thread that I didn't finish. And as I said, it's an amateur site, and it's basically just me journaling. It's just basically a verbal journal, because at the moment I'm finding it really hard to write, and one of the yeses to life that I'm acknowledging for me is I'm acknowledging I've got a lot of disabilities and debilitation at the moment in my life. So writing isn't coming easy for me. Sleep is. I am sleeping really well. Creating a nice, simple, healthy, peaceful routine isn't coming easy in my life yet. I often have to work through feelings of flatness and emptiness, and sort of it's a hard to explain feeling, like a real sense of free falling, like it's a sense of free falling, like that. And then in the free falling, I know I'm protected, I know I'm safe, like I actually know I'm safe. So it's that full surrender to the leap of faith, of just trusting that everything that's happening in my life is God's desired plan, and then looking for the signs and the guidance. And obviously when I say, God, come on, I've had enough, how long is this going to go on for? I want my heart to get peace and this and that, rah rah, boom. I remember I got to a point the other day where I said, I can't handle it anymore, God. I really, no more, like I need peace, I need joy, enough, please, enough. I got to get to the next level. Like, how much more surrendering do I have to do? Haven't I surrendered enough? Like, I know I've got to surrender forever, but I just can't bear this suffering anymore. Please, enough. It was just full on, everyone. It was full on. And then God brought me all these amazing experiences that did nothing but create for me to laugh again and have joy again in my life, like real joy, like in this world joy, not just 5D joy, not just meditating to God, believing and trusting and knowing my future's going to be fine and God's got my back, and not that peace that comes with just truly believing I'm a true child of God and truly loved by God. It was actually legit laughter, rolling of laughter, and dancing. Like, I was dancing around my lounge room and I was so full of happiness and joy and smiling and just so light, so light. Like I found me again. I was like, oh yay, here she is again, yay, woohoo. So it was really beautiful to get her back, and she's there. So she's come back, and part of the process of getting to that place of true acceptance, of receiving those gifts of joy and true joys and true 3D blessings, I had to do more shadow work into what needs to be released and let go of in the 3D. Like, what else I need to surrender in the 3D to receive more of these divine blessings from God. And that's been really heartbreaking. And I'm not going to talk about the details of that right now on this YouTube channel, because there will come a time when I discuss the details. I'll actually work out what the right time is. I mean, I can discuss it with you on a generic level if you want. Maybe I could. Maybe this is the right time to discuss it for you all, because I don't know who out there is going through something similar to me. There is a process of when you, hang on, I'm just going down this really tricky little bit. There actually is a process in life when we keep saying our yeses to God and our big woohoo leaps of faith, and we're constantly saying, yes God, I hear you and I'll act on that. And then we, hang on, see, another one. Can you see that? I'm about to step over that. Zena. She just shook all over me, little bugger. She's done that twice now. Oops, okay, there we go. So when we take those leaps of faith, they take us down, and we're watching for the signs of God, the guidance, the signpost from God. And we're praying to get clear guidance, and we keep following those tracks. And then, well, I know this has happened to so many people. It's all through the Bible. I've heard heaps of people's testimonies, and I just know it's a part of being a human. And God's a mystery, and the whole journey of taking those leaps of faith and following God's journey, it's nothing that humans can understand. We're never going to understand. So what might look like a horrifying experience or a really draining, despairing experience is actually a blessing. It's a honing, it's a training, it's a true blessing. Like, really, like if you take the ego out, and if you take the, all the human 3D ego-based mindsets and narratives that our brains can comprehend, if we take that out and we just accept that this process of there's no right, wrong, good, evil. I mean, I don't know about that. We're not going to go down that track, because there is evil and good. I know that for sure. But that process of polarities and knowing that there's no, I've discussed this in previous YouTube channels, and it's discussed everywhere. Like, it's a really well talked about topic, but the polarities is what's required. The negative, positive ions, the, sun, moon, light, night, and day, night. Cold, winter, summer. Like, we need the polarities. Like, the opposites are required. So what can be seen as an excruciating experience is actually a required energetic experience to push. It's actually healing and healthy and good. Like, there's nothing negative about it. So we perceive it as negative because it's excruciating, but literally there's transformation occurring. There's cellular transformation. There's like, it's next level healing that happens through true blue shadow work. And true blue grief work is one of the most profound ways. You want to talk about what a seed has to go through to sprout itself. It has to first break through its husk and get out of its warm comfort. And it's surrounded by warmth and the darkness, and it's got all its nutrition, and it's completely happy, and everything's fine. See, this is the small, everything's fine, everything's perfect. And that seed could stay there, and it will never grow into the beautiful full plant that it's supposed to be. But it could stay there for the rest of its life, and it would feel fine. And that's what small-minded living is, which the majority of people stay in that small-minded, limited way of living, because it's safe, it's comfortable, it's all they know, and all their needs are being met to a degree. They're not growing to their full potential, but they are okay enough, right? But they don't know any better because they don't know what else they could be. So anyways, and then they break through the husk. They have this burning desire to break through that husk, and they push up, and they put all their efforts into putting those little sprouts up through the dirt. That's high risk because all of their nutrients are going to pushing the sprout up into the sky, and they don't notice, but the minute they push that little sprout up into the sky, they could get munched. Some little creature could come along and just munch the leaves. So they don't know that though. They just know they want to push through. They can feel it's extra warm up there. The light, the soil is different colour up there, and they're drawn to it, and that's the leap of faith. That's the leap of faith. You don't know what you're going to, but you just know you need to. You're drawn to in full faith and full trust. And then, yes, put your little sprouts through the top, and each different plant has a different experience. And, that's the debate of the century that will never have everyone agreeing on the same answer of why do some people have horrifying experiences when they choose to sprout and others go into an immediate, really peaceful, blissful experience. Who knows? I still think there's more to God than the Bible talks about, and I mean, there's a lot to unpack on this topic. Zena, Alvin, come on. So we're not going to go there today because that's a big topic. I, however, believe, as I've spoken to some of my other YouTube lives, come on, I actually believe that some of us have pre-chosen with God to be warriors of God, the front four line of the God's army, and that involves being honed, like honed as a warrior, and that involves arduous training. And we said yes to that. We go, yes, I sign up. I sign up to be trained, to be part of God's front army. And it's a big, woohoo! It's a big, it's a big place to be, because the light workers, it's been bringing light into the world, bringing God and peace and love and healing into the world, God's front army. But to do that, you have to have the full gamut of all what it is to be a human. So that involves experiencing all the different gamuts of what it is to have a human experience. And that involves all the negatives. Okay, so that's why, how can you then say those negatives are negatives? They're not, they're positives, because it creates a warrior. It creates a godly warrior, one of the most powerful godly earth angels you could ever have. So, and that can't happen without being honed. The phoenix, the fire, so those big leaps of faith in pure surrender often will lead to experiences that could be called a negative experience. If you want to be that simple about it, just a simple terminology. Let's just call it a learning experience. Let's call it a transformational experience. Let's call it an alchemizing experience. Because literally, what occurs when we work through grief is such alchemizing. And then we get I'm just going down a little bit of a steep bit. We go through so much. I will use the word beautification if you want to turn it into alchemy, and not remodifying as in being changed, but really just honed is the right word. Like, you know, so alchemizing grief work, it does such powerful alchemizing work, and from that the process of saying yes to life, yes to a godly divine life, actually really involves seeing, feeling, accepting and surrendering every experience as a blessing. That's what I've been talking to you all about for so long. That's the surrender process. Because I still do have friends going, Nadina, how is it that they still ask me about what this surrender process feels like? I said, and that's all I can say is it's like a free dive. And that, when I did that thing, it's literally like you can't control it, you can't navigate it, you can't orchestrate it. You just got to follow the guidance. Not blindly. Like, we're actually actively looking for the guideposts. We're actively, really proactively looking for the signs, and then clarifying that's the right sign, that's the right guidepost, and then actually making the feet walk. You know what I mean? The feet have to move towards that direction. The hands have to do the work. You might not want to get out of bed. You might not want to do some toil. You know, I didn't want to do this YouTube live today. Come on. I didn't want to do this YouTube live today. I really didn't. I was so prepared to just shut my YouTube channel down and move on to my very quiet sedentary life, because my grief work has alchemized me to such a point that in pure, it's hard to explain. I'll say it in a crude way because it's simple, but this is not the full truth. I could try to explain it deeply, but it's very difficult to explain. I'll use the word crone, C-R-O-N-E, the wise woman, the elderly wise woman. So I've alchemized into the crone, and I have gracefully and beautifully accepted moving into my elder senior years. And I'm still young, but I'm going towards that direction in my life, and I've had to accept and surrender all these things that I wanted, that my human being experience wanted, but God had other plans, right? Because God has a big plan for me, and a part of God's planning for me was I had to get to this point of accepting. Now, this might be hard for people to hear because words don't do it justice. No word is going to explain the full truth of what I've been experiencing. But I've literally got to a place of peace with my loneliness and my deep, what's the word? Losses, like, sadnesses, if you want to call it sadnesses. So my human experience has a sadness in it and around it and of it. But that's not a negative thing. That's not a bad thing. That's just a part of who I am. So there is a huge part of who I am that embodies grief, embodies sadness, embodies all these lost dreams and what could have been, and desires and possibilities that haven't come to fruition, dreams that didn't eventuate, that I was promised, that I could see. It was so clear, it was so there, it was so there, you know. It was so, I was shown. I knew exactly what it could be like, and then it didn't come about, you know. And then to come to a true acceptance of that, and accept the sadness for what it is, without judging it, without trying to make it go away, without trying to justify it or explain it, without trying to fix it, without trying to make sense of it. Just sort of accept that it's there, and then go, oh God. I'd say it's really hard to explain, everyone, but I have, like what I was saying in one of my posts, I have, you know, it's like 1 foot in the angst and 1 foot in the joy. So at all times it's pure joy, pure bliss, pure appreciation, pure like, oh yeah, and seeing and feeling all the blessings, and just like, oh my gosh, next level euphoria for this glorious, amazing path that God has me on. And then the other foot is in that sense of, I have to use the word density. Like there's a density to it, like a sort of a ploddy sort of, you know, like, you know, like, oh, you know, my life has been so hard. My life has been so hard. It's been nothing but hard, and all I wanted was to have some legit 3D peace. And when I said the word about having 3D peace before, I guess it's so hard to explain, but everyone, when you say yes to life, it doesn't come with the density not being there. It comes with the reality that 1 foot in the angst, 1 foot in the density, without having to label it or give it a value or qualify. You don't need to qualify it. It just is, right? It just is. So there's that 1 foot in the what you could call the shadow, the density. I don't necessarily want to call it 3D, because that is definitely a heightened spiritual density. In the sense, there's a person over there. Alvin! Alvin! Zena! I might go back this way just a little bit. Alvin! This is just a man walking over there. Come on, Alvin! I'll just walk back here for a little bit. Come on, Alvin! Thank you. Come on. I'll just let that man do some walking. My dogs are friendly. They're very friendly, but they're very young. So they're a bit get excited with new people. Alvin, come on. Hang on a second. Alvin. Alvin. Right, they're not jumping on. That's good. Okay, Zena, come on. That's fantastic. They basically just did a little run around him in a circle. Well done, darlings. Well done. Woohoo! So basically what they did was they just ran around him. Didn't jump on him. So cool. I might just go that way. I might come this way so you can walk in peace that way. Hi, I'll just go that way so you can walk in peace.
That's all good. I'm just going to walk so far and probably turn around anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, we've already done the river up there, their way up.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful as per usual.
Yep. I've never been up here.
Oh, haven't you? Enjoy.
Yeah, no,
You can go. You can walk an hour.
Yeah,
We walk for hours sometimes.
Yeah.
So just keep going as far as you
sort of
can.
basically just follow the
You
water,
just follow the water, follow the river, and you'll get to a point where at the moment, because the river's so high, you can't walk any further,
Yeah, right.
and then turn around.
Geez, last time
It's
I
such
did,
a
the water was
beautiful,
nice.
beautiful walk.
It was dry last time.
Yeah, and then it will dry. Then you walk along the riverbed.
Yeah,
But
right.
you do that. I've just got a live happening. A live, like a face. No, don't be sorry. It's a you. Hey, Alvin! Sorry about that. Don't jump on people. Sorry, come here. Quick. Quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can walk for half an hour to an hour, and it's so Zena, and it's beautiful.
Okay, thanks very much.
Come on, Alvin. Quick. Can't believe it. That's okay. You did jump on him, but only a little bit. Come on, quick. Zena, come on. Alvin, don't jump on people. Rude. All right, so come on. First time he's been here, that man, he's in for a treat. This place is magical. So yeah, okay, I guess I'll wrap it up. What is it, 45:12? Okay, so anyways, that's it. Yeah, I didn't want to do this YouTube live today. I really didn't want to. But God said, please come on. Come on. So the point of this live is saying yes to life, everyone. It's that leap of faith. It's not easy. Like, it's what I was talking to you about, the being self-honourable. Being self-honourable is not easy either. And living a big life, which is sprouting, pushing out that husk, that seed husk, and pushing up out of the safe dirt, out of your safety zone, and pushing up into the, what is that? What could be there? And then anything's possible. And that ties in with what I was about to say to you about the peace, the deep peace that gives me euphoric joy. And I mean euphoric joy, like as in, you want to talk about next level euphoria. I'm just in bliss. I'm just in heaven. And it's because I'm in true faith and trust. So that's what I mean about that peace. And in that process of that peace, there is a grief there, which is why I was like this. I think the whole point of my YouTube channel sometimes is to explain to people that you can't have one without the other. The pure joy cannot exist without the pure grief. It just can't. And having that one foot, like having the heart open to the density of what it is to be a human, there is a density to be the gravity force. Like, to be a human, there's a density with just the outright reality of being a human. And with that density, there comes some dense feelings. And then those dense feelings can be things like, doubt, fear. And I know that there's a fear that's probably a little bit safe to feel, and then there's a fear that's definitely of the devil. So a little bit of fear will propel us to pray and beg for clarification and understanding. So I think that's just an adrenaline thing, which we need to keep moving forward. That's a human density, healthy density, I would say. So that's one thing. No judging, just accept it. It's fine. But whenever there's fear that comes in, immediately pray to get the clarity, to get the propulsion, to find the guidepost to move forward, to find the right pathway, which way to go. And then I don't know, when we get to the point where we go, oh yay, I made it, here's the destination, and it's not for us to know that, everyone. But what I do know is that in here I have this like a turbulence. But I used to have a real heaviness here. It was right depth, like an emptiness. It was like a heavy clenching in my heart, and that's gone. That's gone. That I felt like I couldn't. I felt like I was having almost like a constant heart attack. That was legit next level grief and despair. That has been healed. That's what I was saying to you on the 19th of July. That's definitely been healed, and that God did that because I basically said to God, I have had enough, God. I literally have had enough. Like, no more. I cannot do this. And I wasn't suicidal, and I wasn't saying I'm going to give up. I just said I need to not be suffering so much all the time. Please. My life has been a life of suffering. It's been predominantly a life of suffering. Every time I think about really what's happening in my life, it's been more suffering than non-suffering, right? So it's like, enough's enough. I have suffered enough. And then in saying the suffering, I knew that I had to see the suffering as a blessing, which I have been. I literally have been going, thanks God. I really appreciate these experiences. I really get what they're about, and I'm really surrendering to them. And I know I'm going to have to keep surrendering, and like we all do when we're taking this journey. And now I just want to get to the other end a bit. And I know there's going to be more honing and more training, but at least just let me get to the top of this hill and then be on the plateau and have some time of not respite and rest and restoration, because I'm healing from tragedy, but actually just sitting there on the plateau from a place of complete peace, looking around on this beautiful vista from a place of complete peace. Let me just be in that place of peace. And that's actually what God gave me. And I'm not sure if it's because I so honorably declared it, so honorably asked for it, like acknowledging the suffering is a blessing, and acknowledging that there will be more suffering, and suffering is one foot in angst and one foot in joy is a part of life. And these wisdoms that I've come to, I firmly do believe is God's gone, you got it, my beautiful child, you've got it. Yes, so here is your peace. And now, but now that you've got to that place, now I need you to step further into your leap of faith. And that's when I got that message saying yes to life. That came to me last night, actually. Because I don't know if you can see it in my eyes, but I've had 3 or 4 days where I was just crying. It's just full on, like just really. And one of my friends said to me, one of my friend's daughters just recently, took her life away. Young girl. Okay, relax. Took her life away. Relax. Oi, Zena, come here. That was too rough. Relax, gentle. No, enough. No, sorry about this. Zena, stop it. Come here. You can rest. Sit. She's a little bugger. See? She's a little bugger sometimes. Relax. She's a little bit of a bossy one. She's got husky in her. Relax. And little Alvin, he's so timid. And it's so funny because people get really scared of Alvin for some reason. But Zena's actually the feisty one. It's really funny. Not yes and no. I think like she looks adorable. Everyone thinks she's adorable, but she's actually the feisty one. Next level feisty. But I'm sure that's the husky in her actually. Alvin, leave it. So it was just some human litter. So basically, yeah, I'll wrap it up. Oh yeah. This friend of mine who he heard a young man screaming in the middle of the road, and he thought the young man was just on drugs, just ranting and raving. And then he was going, nah, something's not right about that screaming. Went out, and then the young man was saying that his sister was inside, like DAD. And so my friend went in and found the girl, rang the police and blah, blah, blah. And then a little bit later he met the mum. And he said her eyes were so black, they were hollowed out. And he saw me the other day and he asked me if I'm all right. I said, what makes you think that, say that? And he says, oh, just your eyes. They're so black, they're so hollowed out. And I said, well, I can't actually stop crying. I'm just next level grief, man. It's just next level grief. It's just like, I can't explain it. Like it's like almost a residual release of all human attachment to all that my human could have had, all the dreams that my human vessel could have had. It's like I'm grieving everything that I really it's like a complete loss of all of my dreams, a complete letting go of everything that I thought that I was going to experience and have. And it's like, I just thought all this hard work, I can't word it. There's nothing to explain it. But it's just a real release of my ego identity, my dreams, because the way to purely surrender is to just let go of everything. Like, just to be a true. I don't know if any of this makes any sense, but it is such next level grief. Like, next level grief, and unless you're going through it, you probably won't know what I'm talking about. So I haven't been talking to anyone about it. I don't know how to explain it, except for it's just grieving a loss of my dreams, a loss of all that I wanted, felt that I needed, and saying yes to all that God is providing for whatever that is, and saying yes to that abyss, you know, that feeling, that free dive, that godly. Oh, please, Zena, come here. God, she's been a bitch. Well, I'll show you. They're all right. I might just be misinterpreting the barking. Zena, Alvin, Zena. See, yeah, I think it's all right. Sometimes I misinterpret. Sometimes I think I misinterpret the sounds. Can you just be more relaxed? Anyways, yes. Yeah, it's just a. That's why I was so unsure of how to do the live, everyone. I didn't know how to explain this experience I'm going through. It's a true blessing. Like, it is such a blessing. Oh, hello, Alvin. Stay near. Quick. Alvin, stay near. Come on, Alvin. Oh, there's heaps of people over there. Come on, Alvin. Come on, quick. Come on. Thank you. Yeah, God really asked me to do this live, everyone, because I am showing you a pretty raw, vulnerable experience that I'm going through. Come on in the car, Zena. Come on, quick. Ian, quick. Come on, hurry up. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pretty vulnerable space that I'm in. They're wet. It's a pretty vulnerable space that I'm in, everyone, and it's a required space. Like, I've been talking to lots of friends about, not lots, that's a lie, sorry. I've been talking to a couple of friends about it. Well, no, a few different people at church, and, you know, we're just like talking about, but I don't actually show people sometimes the full depth of what I'm going through, because I don't even know what words to use. I don't even know what words to use. At least I'm trying, you know, to work it out on this YouTube channel. But and I will share with you that this YouTube channel actually does prep me and help me sometimes for the conversations I have with people in face to face. It helps me, and I know this YouTube channel is helping you all, because that's part of the reason. So my seatbelt doesn't always go in. That's part of the reason why I am asked to continue this YouTube channel, because I know it is of assistance and service to humankind. But yep, this process of saying yes to life, everyone, comes with a very deep dive of pure surrender, and it is not an easy journey. Don't lick me, but it's not an easy journey. It's not. However, the rewards are next level. Like, the joys and peace that I feel, I know are something that no one feels unless they actually do the hard work. And think about it. Life, real life, true living, can't be experienced unless you're fully present. And you can't be fully present unless you're stepping up into your full potential and sprouting and taking those leaps of faith and blossoming into what you were actually meant to be, like a seed. Whatever that seed is supposed to be, it's got to grow into that. And if it doesn't, it never lived its life, did it? And this is the sad thing that a lot of people don't accept, that living a life as a seed, you're actually not living, you're just existing. And many people just exist. They just exist. That's all they do. They're just existing as a seed in the dark, warm, safe. Sometimes it's not even safe. And they're not experiencing blossoming. So there you go, my loves. We'll leave it at that. And I hope that's helpful on some level. I did it. I'm brave. I did another YouTubey. And I'll see you next time when I do my next live and whatever it's about. And I'm sure it'll be helpful for you, helpful for me. God's blessing. Mwah. Love you all. Keep well. Okay. God's bless. All right.